First, I'd like to, if I could, just send out our prayers and thoughts, sympathies to Terry Glenn's family. Just heard of the unfortunate passing of Terry Glenn, and wish to let his family know and all in the Ohio State community and friends and teammates of Terry and his family that they're in our thoughts.
Back, Chris.
Coach, Brandon's status today?
He'll be coming in shortly. So, we've seen yesterday, and we'll see where he's at today.
Is he concussion protocol or anything?
Yes.
Over on the right, Casey.
If Brandon can't go, how's Wilton's status going to be?
Wilton practiced last week and was not cleared for contact last week. He'll be evaluated again by the doctors this week to see if he would be cleared for contact. And then you're welcome.
So if John O'Corn is your guy, can you talk about where he is relative to, his first opportunity earlier in the season, how he's progressed?
Yeah, John has remained, diligent every single week to preparation and the game plan, and always, sitting on a spring, ready to play.
In the middle, John.
Coach, can you just talk about Ohio State and what you've seen out of them so far this year?
Yeah, really talented team, very well coached, really good players, and right now going through the schemes, the matchups, the preparation for the ball game on Saturday. But really strong, physical football team, and fast team, really good at the skill positions, tackle well, play really good up front. They rotate their defensive line. I know they think very highly of them, and can see why. Can't say enough good things. Really good team.
Jim, last game of the regular season and obviously the rivalry game, do you find in this game you see things out of your players you haven't seen before? Does something else come out in this game that you almost don't see during the rest of the season as far as effort, emotion, and all that stuff?
Yeah, the crescendo of the regular season, it's the final game. There's players on both sides who've been through this game before and are maybe playing their last game. Some playing it for the second or third time, some playing it for the very first time. And it's their opportunity. It's our team's opportunity. Put that exclamation point on the season.
On the left, Larry.
Coach, watched Chris Evans coaching kids in flag football yesterday. Your thoughts on a student athlete with as much on his plate as Chris has, like giving back in that way in a real genuine fashion?
Yeah, been very impressed with Chris in his coaching and his commitment to coaching, because he's been so dedicated towards coaching youngsters, and his time, his energy, his talent. I think there's been a piece or two done on him. I think earlier in the year, saw one on ESPN where they followed Chris around. It's not just that one time when the cameras are around. Chris is very dedicated to coaching and working with youngsters, and I think it's I applaud his effort because it's the dedication that he has toward it.
Over here on the right, Kyle.
Do you remember, when you first understood the magnitude of this rivalry and kind of what it meant? I don't know, was it when you moved here as a kid, or?
Yeah, definitely. When the first time I was at the game was 1973. It was a 10-10 tie, and then and then afterwards really understood that was the biggest game of the year. That was between the two teams, arguably the biggest rivalry in college football, arguably one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports, and came to understand that as a youngster, then even more so when I actually played in a game. First couple I did, and I was on the team, but and learned about it, and then really understood it once I played in the game, and then you understand it, afterwards. I mean, there's what it means to play in that game, what it meant while you were playing the game, what it meant, 5, 10, 15, 20 years afterwards. I mean, you understand it, the more experience you have with it, and the longer the time goes on, you even understand it more.
Back right.
Coach, with Don Brown as the defensive coordinator, what is it about his makeup, his personality, that even as a 62-year-old, he's able to connect with 18 to 22-year-olds and lead a defense to one of the top performers in the country?
I think, players, coaches, we all understand the drive, the passion that Don Brown has for the game of football, for coaching football, for competition. Players understand how hard he works and how much passion he has to make them better football players. We on the team understand, just how good he is at it, and how driven he is. It's about the competition, it's about the game, and he's a tremendous motivator, because you're showered with the virtues that he has every day. I mean, he has a love and passion for what he does.
Front left here, Dan.
It's not your favorite topic, so I apologize in advance, but it seems like the habit of everything you do and you're saying turning into a headline or a bigger story has gone away a little bit this year. I'm curious if you've noted that, if you've kind of consciously done anything to try to stay lower on the radar in the past several months.
No. You've probably asked me this question before. I mean, wasn't consciously doing anything to be on the radar. Just coaching the football team.
Sure, and I understand you weren't doing anything to get on the radar.
No, wasn't doing anything to get on the radar then, and not doing anything now to directly answer your question to stay off the radar. Just coaching the football team. That's always been my goal.
In the back right, Jordan.
Your thoughts of Jordan Kovacs as a first-time coach. What have your impressions been this year?
Really good. Outstanding. He's going to be a tremendous coach. He's already really good. He's been able to take his playing experience, ability he has as a leader, to be a good learner once again, to understand the ways of coaching, and understand the ways of our team, and he's already become an asset to our team, and in future years, we very much like him to stay. Next year, plan to be a graduate assistant. So he's growing, and already become an asset, and we believe he'll be really good as the years progress.
In the front here, Coach Angelique.
Jim, how late in the week can you go with Brandon in terms of if he gets cleared, say on a Friday, would he be able to play without practicing this week?
So there's stages. So if you want to know exactly what the stages are, as soon as he's symptom-free, if that happens today, then it has to go to a day where he has exertion, where they does cardio, and then lifting, to be able to work up a sweat and exert yourself, and then you see, are the symptoms there the next day? So, and then once that occurs and you come back that next day and there's no symptoms, then he'd be allowed to practice without contact. That could happen as early as Wednesday, could happen as early as Thursday. It's each is different, each case is different. Totally go by the doctors, the tests, and Chris Evans had a concussion in a ball game and then played the next week. Levert had a concussion and did not play the next week. So it's a matter of what the level is and what the doctors, neurosurgeons, I think that's the right. Neurologists would be the better word. Better, it's in their hands.
Where is Levert in that process now?
Levert was cleared to participate again yesterday.
Front here, Nick.
Jim, I know we talk every year about every team is different, every season is different. They're all unique. This season, obviously, a unique one. I wonder what you've learned this season that's unique, or how this year's been like. I know it's not over yet, but what things about this year have been especially unique in your mind, or what have you learned this season that's new, or anything different?
Well, it's been a team that's been progressing. I really like our team. I love the way they work, love the way they compete, love the effort that they give, and I really like seeing the progress that's being made.
Do you think they're close to bubbling over here?
Yeah. As I said, I feel like our team's gotten improved each week, and it's already shown that they can play to the level of with anybody in the country.
Got time for a couple more. We'll start in the back. Adam.
How much does it benefit your defense for some of those guys who have prepared for a quarterback like JT Barrett multiple times? And then how much does it maybe alter that when Ohio State's brought in a new coordinator, Kevin Wilson?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to look at all the tape. We'll look at all the games this year. I mean, that's another benefit for both teams. When you're playing the last game, there's a season-long amount of film to study and prepare for. But yeah, we'll go back to last year and the year before.
On your right, Kevin.
Jim, Mike McCray's been your captain all year. What has he meant to this team? How has he fulfilled that role? What you thought? And with this game, have you found in your experience that the Ohio guys take it a little more in focus, or is this a bigger game for them?
Mike has been a really good captain. He's been a true leader, both on the field, off the field. He's been a stud, and there hasn't been there's not a lot of seniors that are out there playing. He's been one, and he's been a great example for our entire team. Shows up every practice, every ball game. And he's tough. So he's been an outstanding leader for our football team. I don't know about the other part. I don't know. I mean, it's like possibly somebody notices that. Having played in it, having coached in the game. Don't know. I don't know that somebody else was taking it more seriously than I was, because they grew up, their entire life in the state of Michigan or the state of Ohio. Of course, I grew up in both places. Grew up some in Ohio and some in Michigan, but I know how much I was. I don't know if I don't think there was another level that another person could have been taking it more seriously than I was personally. So.
Your left here, Coach Aaron.
Two parts. Has Cesar Ruiz locked down the right guard spot? And did you think the offensive line took a step back Saturday as opposed to where it gone?
No, lockdown. I'm not saying that. He's playing very well. He's doing a very good job. He's playing at a starter level. Of course, Mike Owenu was too, and we'll see where Mike's at this week. So that'll be when a guy's coming back off of an injury. There's one thing to be cleared, from the doctors, and then what percentage do they come back at? Are they 100%? Are they 90%? Are they 80%? Are they better than the person that's already that has been playing that position? So in this case, Mike's got to come back and be really back to full strength, because Caesar's playing really well.
Up here to the right, Angelique.
Jim, Urban Meyer today said that they didn't just start their Michigan film study this week. I mean, it's been going on all year. How do you do the same? Do you approach the Ohio State game the same way, studying them every week?
Yeah, we're as we said, there's a lot of tape to study, and this year off season.
Last question up front here, Nick.
Back with the offensive line, when you back and watched it over again, when you diagnose it, why was there one thing? Was it multiple things? Why were there so many pressures? And what do you do to fix some of those errors?
Yeah, we definitely got beat on some pick stunts, and some we picked up, some we didn't, and address that, work on it, get better at it.
With Brandon, that was the first time he really faced a defense at that level. Him standing in, what did you see from him? He stood in, stepped into some throws, delivered. I know he obviously had to leave the game, but in terms of overall how he handled himself in an environment like that, I mean, you played in spots like that before. How do you think he acquitted himself?
Very well. I thought Brandon played it very well, and he's, it's not his first time of, standing in there and making a courage play. He's done that probably in every single game that he's played in, where he's made that kind of throw. Tough to simulate. You stand in the pocket, you see a receiver, oncoming rusher, and to be able to stand in the pocket and make that throw is, it's a courage play. So he's got that. You hate to see any player get hurt, and that's how we feel now, and we. There's some football to it, that is football, and hope to have him back quick, and we want to protect him. We want to protect whatever quarterback is out there, and it's on us to get that done.